Alright, what's up? This is my spoiler review, and I'm talking full spoiler review of Insidious 5. The Red Door. Okay, I'm just gonna get right into it, the whole thing. I get to the theater exactly on time. I'm there, and I'm like, alright, good. It's opening day. Saw it yesterday on the very last showtime of the night. It was 8:40 showtime, and all of the seats that are taken, all the good seats, all the not so good, there's intermittent random 1-2s. But, I didn't really want to sit next to a bunch of other people, families, whatever. Not really, I was like, I'll just be a loner. So anyway, and I was really amped up and freaked out to go see it anyway. So I was like, I'll just go sit where the open seats are. The front 3 to 4 rows way down in front were open with nobody. So I get to the middle, sit down, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm geeked, and I watched the opening part with the funeral and that shit, and I'm like, okay, and I'm getting more and more freaking amped and scared, nervous, anxious, excited, all these emotions at once for this movie, and all of a sudden, when he gets in that car and he shuts the door and it's silent, I knew something was coming. And the movie did a really good job throughout the whole film of building tension and adding all of these different original elements together, while maintaining a credible storyline in that and be a movie on its own. We'll get to that later. But he's in that car and it's silent and it's doing the thing with the text that pop up and you can read what they're saying and that. And when I saw this scene, I will never forget how it made me feel. I'm sitting there and you barely see in the background this blur. A small blur, you can tell, and even then just noticing it all of a sudden is a startle in its own right. But when it freaking takes longer and longer and you see it starting to form and get more close and all of a sudden it's way close to him and it's like Jaws kind of effect and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? And instead of it popping out into the car, you look up and it freaking is just gone. And then all of a sudden it's silence and then the great big and the Insidious logo freaking drops, and it shows the opening title sequence, Welcome to Hell. The most insane, compelling thing ever to me in a movie was that scene. I don't know why, I can't explain it, just in that moment, how it made me feel. And as it just greeted me with that bright red Insidious sitting way up front, way close to the screen, I was like, oh, I'm in for a treat. And I was like, here we go. And I remember being so happy because I'm like, if this movie is going to send it home and actually do it and be that good horror movie I've been waiting for, with all of the money I've spent on these duds and just theater bombs and just horrific attempts at horror movies and reboots and that, I was like, here we go. And I was buckled in my seatbelt. And the movie segues, it has to go into not only the drama between the father and the son and that, which makes you feel for the characters in that regard, and understand the situation and the college and that, and then also you have the goofy frat side of it, where you can tell the Blumhouse-ness and that of use their Halloween ends, Halloween kills, Halloween 2018 sort of way that they portray young people in horror movies. I think they did better at it in a lot of aspects than some of the Halloween ones. And I'm a huge fan of Halloween Kills. I'm an absolute huge fan of 2018. Saw both in theaters. Great. Halloween Ends, I didn't get it first like Halloween 3, but I still saw it in theaters and liked it. But I was disappointed that they didn't go full willy-nilly and almost Texas Chainsaw Michael Myers in it and it be a true to form Halloween movie. But I digress. It just wasn't what I wanted to see. Halloween Kills was, even though the Evil Dies Tonight and that, it had its goofiness. I just thought it was the most unbelievable shit ever when I saw that in the theater. But you go from that and then to the more of the tension and that. But then the movie all of a sudden goes, if you think that this is just going to be like what the movie is, you're wrong. And it almost kind of like, in that, it gives you this sense of dread. The more that they go into like the ha-ha goofiness of it and that. And when they changed, especially if you segue to the Harry Potter-esque scene of the painting class and that, and the hand comes out, absolutely the craziest scene of the movie, if not the craziest, one of them, the scene where he's going into the hospital and he's into the machine and it closes and all of a sudden when it goes pitch dark and he's in there, it was so scary, and the way that they built the tension of it was just absolutely brilliantly done, the entire film. But when that thing crawls up and you see the hand at first and that jump scare, I launched out of my seat, and that was one of many that were, you couldn't help but have to cover your mouth or you would just go, ah, in the theater. It was that level of scary. The entire film, it was like Conjuring 3. Amazing scary. Conjuring 3 and this movie are top tier of all time. But then, you fast forward to more of like the strangeness in the movie, but it worked because it was a way of getting into the paranormal, that wasn't in a overdone, corny way. It was unique with the astral projection side of it. And I thought that added more of a unknown and more of a intensity to the film, where you couldn't help but look away at all. But at the same time, you were just like, oh gosh, what's coming next? And it was just so exciting. It was thrilling. I think that everybody should go see this movie. If you don't go see this movie, it is definitely your loss. There's no other way to experience this but in the theater. That's what it is. It's the Insidious 5 experience, and this movie, it's got like an Avatar effect to it. Like the people that saw Avatar and were depressed and were like, oh, my life isn't that. This movie really took me there. It took me to this other place, and it was mind blowing. And yeah, I hope you guys go see it. 5 stars.